Go. Hello everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Megaman 3 of the Legacy Collection. Last time we proved our ninja skills are better than Shadow Man's. Then afterwards, we proved that Hard Man ain't really that hard at all. So, before Robot Master is left, who are we going to go after next? Are we going after Spark Man, Snake Man, Needle Man, or Gemini Man? Well, I personally think we should go after the fifth one in terms of this weakness chain, and we're going to go after Spark Man. I love how he just has no face right here, but then in the select screen, he does. So, Sparkman stage is definitely theme-based, with the whole flashing lights and electronics and just electricity. It really does prove, like compared to some of the other Robot Masters, that he does have a theme in mind. Like with these enemies as well, like they're kind of unique. I mean, yes, he has the little eye robots, but he also has these plugged robots as well. So, I'll give him some credit. So, I've already said before, well, I just said now, that I'm going after Sparkman because there is a certain weakness chain. And the one thing I wanted to get clear with everybody is that the three that are still left that I'm not going after right now, Snake Man, Needle Man, and Gemini Man, they have their own thing they have to worry about, like, in terms of weakness. What do I mean by that? Well, I'll get to it in a minute. But if there's one thing that really isn't explained in this game, it's the story. And I think that's the real shame, because I think that this game has, or could have, a really good story if they try to remake it. I mean, yes, it's an old game, but it really does show you that it's a really good game at the same time. So, I mean, what do you do? Well, in terms of story, there is the same people that do the Sonic comics, the Archie Comics. They actually made one for Megaman as well. And they have made one for Megaman's 1 through 3, and I think all the rest as well. But what I'm trying to say is that the Archie Comics for Megaman, they actually give your own spin, for, like, in terms of personalities, like character. I mean, hell, even Breakman's in it. Oh, by the way, I didn't talk about these parts. Be careful of these spikes right here. They can be very tricky. They can be dangerous as well. I mean, one hit, you're dead. You run into those spikes. But this part right here, this is probably the worst part of Sparkman stage. So, I'm going to use the Magnet Missile right here. And honestly, it's a really good weapon to just get rid of these damn screws. I think it's really useful. I mean, it would be a pain in the butt for it anyways, like, if I didn't have the Magnet Missile. So that's one thing that I don't really have to worry about. But, regardless, here's Sparkman himself. And Sparkman is weak to Shadow Blade. So, what Sparkman's gonna do, he's gonna jump around, he's gonna shoot his sparks at you, and he's gonna hop, and he's gonna shoot a giant spark ball at you. And what you want to do, you want to dodge that part, and then jump over that. Usually you'll have the idea of when to jump over, or slide under the giant ball. And for the circle spark attack, all you really have to do, all you have to do is just either just stand in the one gap that's going to be there. But anyways, we defeated Sparkman, and you got the Spark Shock. Now, Spark Shock, what it can do, it can paralyze enemies in their place. So they'll just be able to stand in place whenever you get hit by the Spark Shock. And usually with faster enemies, it's better. I mean, it's an okay weapon, but it's really just pretty good on just attacking enemies. So, out of all three of these right here, Snake Man, Needle Man, and Gemini Man, I think I'm gonna go after Snake Man. Oh god. The snake... What happened to his head? The snake ate him! Oh no, they're gonna eat me. So Snake Man stage, obviously, as you can tell, I mean, they have snakes. I think this is really well themed. I mean, I think he went a little bit overboard, but what can you say? It's Snake Man. I mean, you gotta have snakes. Why did it have to be snakes, though? Couldn't it be toads? I don't know, man. I mean, just snakes. Like, look at this! Like, this is what I'm talking about in terms of, like, a themed stage. I like it. I think it's really thematic and funny. I just don't like random stages in terms of, like, design. I think that's kind of lazy. And I know it's like, oh, you're not a game designer. Like, you don't know anything. But I'm like, that's fine. But at least have a little bit of creativity whenever you try to make the Robot Master levels. Like with Snake Man stage, like, it's so good. Like, I mean, yeah, it's just full of, like, snake tubes and stuff. But either way, I mean, for the enemy design, I don't really think you could really get any better other than just obvious snakes. Like giant snakes and little snake turrets. And then, of course, you have, like, green enemies, like, hell, like Bola Joe over here. That's fine, but I'm just saying, at least the level looks thematic, unlike some other levels. But yeah, going back to the Archie Comics situation. The Archie Comics, I think, are really interesting. I think they can be very storytelling, like, for this game and Mega Man's 1 and 2. I think it could really drive the story home. And if they ever did a remake of the Archie Comics, or not Archie Comics, the remake of Mega Man's 1 through 3, I think they should take a little bit of a book of Archie Comics. I think it would be really well to just talk about that and have that as, like, a plot, because it'll add a little bit of character to Mega Man. I mean, for 11, it was just all fun and games, and I liked that. I think it was very well written out. Like, yeah, it was kind of corny at times, and, like, the lines are cheesy, but, I mean, hell, it was fine. It was a fine story, and it was a fine game, too. But I'm expecting a little bit too much, considering that these games are really old, but I would love to see a remake of Mega Man 3, 1 through 3, for a better storyline purpose. So, I didn't explain why I went out of Snake Man, and I didn't go after, oh god, and I didn't go after, Snake Man, Gemini, and Needle Man at the same time. I did that for a reason, and the reason why is because in Mega Man 3, there are 2 weakness loops. There is one with a 5 weakness chain, and one with a 3. And Needle Man, Gemini Man, and Snake Man, that's the 3. You need to take those guys out in order, and I didn't say this earlier, but there is a sort of second weakness to Snake Man, but there really isn't. Like, it doesn't do as much damage. You don't really produce as much damage, really. I don't think it's that well in terms of execution. Like, with Snake Man's second weakness, it is the Shadow Blade. But the problem with it is it doesn't do enough damage. But Snake Man's real weakness is the Needle Cannon. Like, for the 3 weakness chain. So you have to kill Needle Man first. So in this game, you have to Buster Duel both 2 Robot Masters. And I think Snake Man's the easiest. And I'll show you why. So Snake Man, what he's gonna do, he's gonna jump up, shoot 2 Sure Snakes, and then try to hit you. So, with Snake Man, what you really want to do, you don't want to get hit by him directly. The Sure Snake should be fine. It doesn't do that much damage, but, like, he hits like a truck whenever you get hit by him, like, directly. So I just advise, don't get hit by him. So, what you want to do, you want to meet at the apex of the middle. So when he's coming up, you want to jump over him. And he'll just shoot 2 Sure Snakes at you, go down, go to below, and then jump at the apex of the jump, because you could get caught by Snake Man's shoulder, and it could count for damage. But this is fine. And like I said, if you wanted to go after him later, have the needle can with you, because that's his weakness. So, that's the end of Snake Man. And what did we get out of this? Well, we'll see. As the name entails. As the name entails, we get Search Snake. Now, Search Snake is like the same thing that Snake Man shot at us. It moves on the ground, and it'll move on walls. It's okay. I don't think it's that good of a weapon, but, I mean, it's better than some of the other weapons. But, we defeated Snake Man, and all we have is Needle Man and Gemini Man left. How are we gonna go after this? And who's gonna stop Break Man? I mean, he's still out there. Find out in the next episode of Let's Play Mega Man 3 for the Legacy Collection. This has been Inferno Nomad, and this is the end of the part. Goodbye, everybody. Have a good day.